idea the amount of ignorant mess we're about to get into right now.
Sit your $5 ass down before I make you.
Hello and welcome to a brand new preview episode for Black on Black Cinema. I'm your host, Jay. I'm here with my co-host, Micah.
Hey.
All right, guys, we're back. Terrence will be back for the full episode, which is for episode 186, Charm City Kings. So this is on HBO Max. So if you have HBO Max, it's an easy way to watch it. You can also, I think you can probably rent it as well. Maybe. I actually, I'll look into that. But Charm City Kings is about a young kid in Baltimore, who wants to get a dirt bike, and it's sort of this idea of, does he get this dirt bike through means of like building it himself with the help of this other local guy who is like a pretty famous dirt bike rider, played by Meek Mill, incidentally, or does he do it through you know selling drugs and that sort of thing in Baltimore? If you don't know, like, riding illegal dirt bikes in Baltimore, much like Philly, is very popular, which I believe is where Meek is from. So check out Charm City Kings on HBO Max in the meantime, and we'll be back to talk about that in full next week. So the random topic this week is not that random. We just had a presidential election. The vote count as we're talking is still going on. But what we decided to talk about was the sort of racial implications of this election and how things shook out and how they are, in fact, shaking out. So, Micah, there's a couple things. The 2020 numbers are not finalized, but this kind of gives us a rough idea of how the electorate broke down. Again, point here or there for each of these groups. White men overwhelmingly voted for Trump, at 58% to Trump versus 40% to Biden. White women, 55% to 43% towards Trump, which would be an increase of the infamous 53% of white women who voted for Trump last time. Black men, 18% to Trump, 80% to Biden. Black women, 8% to Trump, 91% to Biden. Latin men, 36% to Trump, 61% to Biden. Latino women, 28% to Trump, 70% to Biden. And then, as if they just don't even matter, all other races, 37% to Trump, 60% to Biden.
Asian people, right?
Right. Like, come on. Like, East and South Asians. Like, what are you doing?
Right.
Like, he don't like y'all, but whatever. Right. I mean, look, let's concentrate on the things that are somewhat not surprising. White men and white women overwhelmingly are the reason we have Trump in the first place, and why he's even remotely staying afloat in this election.
Let me correct you for a second. It's not surprising to us.
No,
it is surprising to white people for some strange reason.
Good. I'm glad we're starting here, because I think the best way to have this conversation is to start from a place of love first, which I'd like to speak to good-natured white people, like friends of ours and people who agree with us politically, who are cool, and who I fuck with. The fact that we are reading that people are saddened of the news, that we are surrounded by so many horrible people, is the most white people thing of all time.
It really is.
It really is.
It is. God love Mick Foley, but he sent out a tweet saying something to the effect of, well, I guess racism isn't a deal breaker for some people in this country. Like, no shit, dude. No shit.
That's why we're here to begin with. Like, that's why 2016 happened in the way that it did.
I mean, literally everything about this country was literally built upon white people thinking that they are better than.
Right.
So I love you. I don't want to hear that shit, man.
Like, I feel like a lot of white people woke up this morning, and again, the election isn't done, and it looks like Biden is likely to beat Trump anyway. But thankfully, but the idea that like a lot of white people woke up and said, "Hey, man, like this is fucked up. Like we worked really hard, and like." This racist bullshit still exists, and this system is still, like rigged against us. And I'm like, yeah, welcome, because this is the thing. And it's not that like they didn't believe us, right? Like it's not that, but it's like it's easy to believe that it is happening to someone else. Like if you are an open-minded person, it's easy to believe it's happening to someone else. It's a different thing to then go, oh shit, this is happening to us. Like the system by like the electoral college and sort of gerrymandering and things like that is a weird political way of almost allowing liberally minded white people to feel what it's like to be a minority, that you have to work twice as hard to get half as much. Literally, like there are more of you, that you are busting your ass, you're making phone calls, you're canvassing, you're doing all of this stuff. And these fucking assholes are still coming close or beating you. And you're like, yo, this is not fair. That's what being a minority is in this country. Like, especially being a black person in this country. That is exactly what it feels like. So me watching that, I'm like, no shit. Like I'm not even mad. I'm not mad at you for
right. I'm not mad. It just amuses me.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, what are you guys gonna do if Trump gets reelected? Like that's something that our friend Jack, who is white, asked, and I'm like, yo, I'm gonna continue to live my life very cautiously. Yeah. No matter who wins, because that's what it's like every day, dude. Like that's what it's like every day.
Right. Like Biden winning isn't going to fundamentally change I'm not suddenly when I see a cop, I'm like, this is Biden's America, baby. I'm fine. Like that is not how it works at all. But it like this idea that white people are sort of white allies or sort of waking up to this revelation is interesting to me. I'm not mad at you. But you now kind of get it a little bit more, I think. And that's good.
I hope so.
Like, right? Like, I think it's actually a good thing that you're getting it. I'm just like, that's the part you're surprised about? like in a conversation between me, you, and Terrence today, it was, no, I'm not surprised about the racism. I'm surprised that white people were like, we're just going to let this dude who let 230,000 people die? Like, that's the guy you're going to like try to like make a legitimate run to reelect, a guy who has fucked the economy, who has been unbelievably bad at his job. That's the guy. Like, that's what I'm surprised that white people weren't like, whoa, enough, enough. But I'm not surprised about the racism. Like, again, the country was built on it. Like the country is built by, as somebody very eloquently put it, the guy Matt, who's in our group, I think, was like, and he's from Germany. He was like, the United States was built by brutal slavers, and their ancestors are still in charge, or their descendants are still in charge.
Yeah,
how is that incorrect? Right? Like, it's absolutely what's happening. So, I gotta tell you. Like, white women's number increasing is maddening to me. I'm like, yo, this guy hates you. Like, this guy hates you. Like, that's to me is wild. But a lot of white women, as Micah dutifully points out, like to sit, on the right side of the throne, like they do. So,
man, like
they're totally fine.
It's literally that Bill Burr joke that white women got so offended by. But it's 100% true.
Yeah, yeah. Who's looking like an asshole now? Not Bill Burr. He's 100% right.
It is correct, and because it's a weird social hierarchy that we have in this country where it's white straight white man.
Yeah,
at
you
the
have
top.
to. You have to preface.
You have
that.
to put that there. Straight white cisgendered man at the very top of the totem pole.
Yep.
And then it goes down from there by gender, then by sexual orientation, then by race, then by because they gotta hate within their divisions first.
Oh yeah, 100%. Look. A gay white man or a gay white woman is still on the totem pole of America, still seen as higher than a straight black man. That's a fact.
Yep.
Like that's a fact. Yep. Like sorry, then look, that's not me shitting on those people. I'm just telling you, in the totem pole of America, nah, yo, like it's
right. No. And look. To be fair, it's like that with us too.
100%. That's what the breakdown is. It's like a white block, a black block. Right. Like yeah. Although we're not the second block.
No. But it's just, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's just very, very interesting as I get older and as I am a little more awakened to, I'm awakened to how the world works every day. And, it feels like there's always something, if not new, it's not surprising. It's not new, but it's just a friendly reminder that, people don't like you just because you look different.
That's it.
And people, it's weird. Like that will judge their voting habits, right? Like they vote for what they perceive as their best interest,
right?
Because but their perceived best interest is, well, he's white, I'm white. That's it. It's the thing that other races think that black people do. Yeah,
which is hilarious to me. Like, yo, black people don't do that. I know people are like, well, but look at how they, came out for Barack Obama. Yo, like he's a Democrat. Right. You think that look, here's a perfect example. Any white person will ever tell you, or a black person ever tell you that black people will just vote for any black person. Look, I prove you wrong right now. Michael Steele ran for governor of Maryland, and he didn't win Baltimore. Black people don't fuck with Republicans. For the most part, we don't. Like, look, you can be as black as Kunta Kinte. Nigga, they ain't not fucking with you. Oh, you a Republican? Word? No, they're not fucking with you, yo. Like in the modern era, they're not fucking with you. So, like, it's not that black people just vote for black people. Black people like Democrats because Democrats give black people at least some semblance of a chance. That's the difference.
They pay the lip service. They are not outwardly racist.
Yeah.
Like, you know how many black people you would get if you just turn down that racism?
They can't though.
Right. And that's their
they
flaw.
Can't.
That's their flaw. They don't know how to, they need a black person to tell them that, but they will never listen to a black person in that capacity because they are racist.
Right. Like, if you just, like, here's the thing. Black people are incredibly, like, especially older black people. Younger black people are, for the most part, very liberal, right? Like any other demographic of young people. You want to steal all black people away? They're culturally pretty fucking conservative. They are.
Yeah.
They are.
They are.
They're incredibly religious.
And that plays into the conservatism, especially as they get older. And we're not talking like old. We're talking like
50,
50s,
nigga,
60s, stuff like that.
Right. You could steal a lot of black people out of the Democratic Party if you were just like, you know what? Let's just stop all the bullshit with racism and just let that shit go. Yeah, you could, but they can't because they're racist. And you can't put that toothpaste back in the tube. You simply cannot. You can't. Because if they do that, it'll be the same thing that the Democrats did, right? Like, I love how Republicans and people like Candace Owens, who's a fucking idiot, will tell you that the party's never changed, right? They're exactly how they always were. I'm like, you sure? Okay. History doesn't say that. Like, voting records don't say that. But, like, Democrats did that. They were the party of, like the abject racist, right? Like they were just like, fuck black people. They were the party of the Klan. They were all this shit, right? That's absolutely true. And then they were like, hey, we're no longer going to do that. And guess what happened? White people were like, we're out. And they broke off and they went to the Republicans who were like, we'll be racist. We love it. Right. And that's where they've stayed.
We're Dixiecrats now.
Right.
Like,
they fucking bounced, started their own shit, and then they all moved over to the Republican Party. Yes, that's absolutely what happened. Again, I'm going to need people when they say, well, Democrats are the party of the KKK. I'm going to need you to add a little bit of context to hundreds of years. But, whatever, it's Twitter. So
no, Jay. You see all those Klan members at Biden rallies, right? You see all those Klan members with Biden-Harris signs in their front yard.
Yes, they can't wait to vote for a half black, half Indian woman. Yes, the Klan. They sound insane. They sound insane. Oh, they're the party of the Klan. Really? Were they big fans of Barack Obama, you think? Fucking idiots. Like, this is such a stupid, like, that argument doesn't even make any sense. But people, they'll come and they'll parrot it. It's wild. But okay, so let's get to black folks for a second. Black men, so as of right now, again, these could shift 1 or 2 percentage points, probably about 1 percentage point up or down, right? But let's just take it at face value. Black men voted 18% to Trump and 80% to Biden. Now, 80% of black men voting are intelligent. I would argue.
I don't even think you have to be intelligent, right? I just think you have to be not dumb.
All right, I'll give you that. Just be able to see a grift coming.
That's it.
That's it, right?
That's it.
Just see a grift coming. 18%, however, voted for Trump. Now, that number has actually increased. I believe it's 3 to 4% since, actually, hold on. I can pull that up because that way I don't tell you the wrong thing. Black men in 2016 voted for Trump at 14%. So that increased by 4% from 2016 to 2020 for black men specifically. Theories?
Look, Trump has a way about him that if you aren't, I can see the attraction, right? I can see he is very charismatic, and his name, he has built a brand of success, right? Like he's successful in marketing his brand.
Right.
That's probably the only thing that he is genuinely good at is marketing his brand. And one, you probably have to have that little bit of like sexism and racism, and like, because black men are a problem. Like in the black community, the straight black man is the fucking problem. And it is,
every group that's at the top of their part of the totem pole is a problem.
Right. And we at the top of ours.
We are. As a group, we are. Right? And like that's, and look, I'm not even going to sit here because I'm sure this will be one of the BS comments of a person who didn't actually listen to this. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I don't make mistakes, right? When you're at the top of your part of the totem pole, you're going to fuck up. You're going to say something. You're going to do things that are unacceptable, right? Like, right. It happens. Owning that and understanding that is the difference, right? Between pretending it's not true and just being like, no, you're the one who's weak and wrong. Like, that's the problem.
Right. And there is a sect of us that is the issue. And, you know, 18%. They are the people who refer to women as bedwenches, and, you know, they're the people who try to grift, always begging for money to build schools that never get built. You know what I mean? Like, they're those guys.
The grit money guy? 1 year.
And there are a lot of them. Yeah. There are a whole lot of them. Like, there are way more than you think would be there. And that,
by the way, in fairness, I would just to cut you off for just 1 second. The grit money guy, pretty sure realizes Trump is bullshit. Like, I will give him credit. The other guy, 100% in the bag for him. I don't give a fuck what he says. That dude's a conservative. I know bullshit when I hear it. I do.
And those people, like, there are a whole lot of them, right?
Yeah.
And the reason that black male number for Trump hasn't gone up is because they, for some strange reason, don't think voting matters or don't think voting counts. But
you're saying why it isn't higher than it is?
Yeah, I guarantee it would 100% be higher if they fall into the trap that Ice Cube fell into.
Yeah,
of just having Trump come and say, you know what, I'll take a look at that, and if that's all you need, then you will vote for him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm actually a bit surprised that number isn't at a solid 20%.
Wow. Black women voted, I believe. I'm trying to find a verification, but I saw it somewhere else. Black women voted for Trump at 4% in 2016. That number is now 8% in 2020. So we'll talk about. I'll give the reason why I'll give the theory as to why I think those numbers are increasing, and I want to dig back into why I think black men are increasing specifically, because I think they have an extra thing. I think the numbers are increasing for black folks for two reasons. One, the number for black women to double is concerning to me. Like, that's super concerning to me. I know black men get pointed out as being real dirtbags about voting conservative as of late, especially with like fucking Kanye West and Ice Cube and Lil Wayne and apparently Lil Pump. I don't know what race he is.
I don't know what a Lil Pump is.
Right. Like, he's just a light-skinned person with a lot of tattoos and looks like a drug addict. So I don't know if he's black. I don't really care. I don't know why anybody would listen to that moron about politics. I just don't. That's just me. I don't know. Don't tell me Lil Pump is a great rapper. I don't believe you. Just keep your comments to yourself. But I think the reason why those numbers are increasing is because Trump, and I don't actually think it's conservatism, by the way. I think it's Trump specifically. I think that bravado works for a lot of people. I think bravado and people not truly paying attention works for a lot of people, right? I read and I hear people talk, specifically black people talk about, well, he just does whatever he wants. And like, you know, I like that. Like, I might not agree with it, but I like that he just fuck the system and he just kind of does what he wants, right? Because much like Trump, who doesn't actually understand like the electoral process and government and things like that, he just blusters his way through things. I think a lot of people don't understand how government works. I can certainly see that by when I read what they think of the election and how it's happening. I'm like, that's okay. That's not how government works. But I think these people they like a tough guy, right? Like, in the same way. Ironically, it's not dissimilar to people's love for Obama. And I can understand why some black people like super loved Obama and then super loved Trump right after, right? Even though they're wildly different, it's the cool factor, right? It's, you know, controversy and sex sells, right? Obama was like, cool, he can hit a jump shot. He's fucking, like, he's a younger guy. Like, he seemed very different and just an interesting anomaly in the old white man politics, right? Like, that everybody was generally disinterested in, except for nerds like me. So then he comes around and it's like, oh shit, this is like sexy as fucking cool. It feels like my generation. All right, I'm into it. And these are people who don't hardcore pay attention to politics, right? So they get into it and they're like, all right, cool. And then Obama is president and they kind of turn off because they're not really interested in the day-to-day of politics. And then they turn back on in the re-election. They're like, all right, I guess, whatever. Or maybe they're still enamored. And then they vote again. Trump comes along and it's back to normal. It's a boring white lady that you've heard about. Oh, I've got policies. Pokemon go to the polls. not impressive, right? Like she doesn't ignite that vigor in people, right? Like Obama did. But here comes Trump, who is one of a fucking celebrity. He is a person you know. And this guy is just like fucking blustering and just saying wild shit. I grab him by the pussy. His policies don't mean anything. So it's just a matter of who's the person you heard of? Who's the person who's going to get that fucking vigor going again? Who's going to shake things up? And if you are a person who, one, doesn't pay attention, again, like I'm talking about to like policy and shit, when you don't pay attention, that's all the stuff you hear, right? You hear the craziness, like, whoa, he said that, oh shit. He's got money, right? Like bravado and having money is a big reason for people to like people. Look, you gotta, and not to reduce things down to just music taste, right? Like, cause that's not fair and that's not all black people by any means. But if you're looking at the idea of people who love rap music, right? They're like just super into rap music. Bravado and money is so tied into that shit. Like, so to me, it's not that crazy that Lil Wayne and Ice Cube and Lil Pump are people who are endorsing, and 50 Cent, who are endorsing Donald Trump. He is an extension of the fucking universe in which they live in. So if you are all about that sort of bravado and all that bullshit, Trump makes total sense, right? Especially if you don't know anything about policy or don't care about it. Like, so for those people, like, is that all of the people voting for him? No, of course I'm sure there are just generally conservative black people, but for the numbers to be increasing as fast as they are under Trump, there's something else. And I think it's specifically him. I think you put Tom Cotton or Josh Hawley or one of these like generic white male conservatives, I don't think you get numbers anywhere close to this. I think they just go, either they just stay home or whatever. But I don't think you're going to get like suddenly this block of black people were just like, hell yeah, all conservative. Because like none of their policies mean anything to them. They're all anti you for the most part.
Right. You're 100% right. I mean, you know, in rap's heyday, right? Like not the origins of it, but in its heyday, like in the 90s and shit like that, like it was all about rapping about what you got, right?
Right.
How much money you got, how many hoes you have, quote unquote. And Trump's name has been dropped in rap lyrics before, right? Because he, again, a master at marketing his brand, is, you know, he was the thing that you wanted to aspire to. He kept himself in the limelight. He had helicopters and jets with his name all on it. Even his name, even the name Trump sounds like authoritative. And
money and success, right?
Money. Like, Trump card, you know, like it sounds like it's a big deal.
Right. If his family had kept their real name Drumpf, niggas are not, niggas not getting hired for Donald Trump. Get out of here. Yeah, that name is terrible. But it does matter, right? It absolutely matters. But it's all like that's all the Hollywood shit. Like it is, and I think people like the idea of it. I truly do, and I would
sad state of affairs for this country.
It is, and like I'm gonna try to see if I can find like the 2012 election results by race, because it would be interesting to know, like, did people come out for Mitt Romney? I don't think so, dude. I don't think black people were like hyped for Romney like that.
His name is Mitt.
Right.
It's short for mittens. That's what you name your kitten.
Mittens.
Let me ask you a question, and this is a hypothetical, right?
Sure.
Is it, in your opinion, do you think it is a positive or negative? Like, do you think that the people who just come out when there is, like, let's say another celebrity comes out, right? Like, do you think those people deserve a vote? Like, is their vote?
What do you mean? Do they deserve a vote? Would I rather they not vote?
Would you rather the people who would want to vote for a celebrity not vote at all?
Oh, I see.
Or literally everyone's vote. Everyone should vote, right?
Right. No,
Everyone should
I think I stand on the platform that I want more people to vote rather than less. And the reason why I say that is because people say, oh, well, there's so many people who are uninformed. But here's my thing. There are plenty of people who don't vote every year because they don't think their vote matters, who are very informed, right? They just make excuses. Well, I live in a state that's really blue, or I live in a state that's really red, so I don't vote. But no, I believe that the policies and the viewpoints that I believe in are more beneficial to people, and I think more people voting would allow for those policies to get enacted. I think people would go, "Oh, okay, well these are the policies. I like this guy versus the other guy." Ironically, both of us were wearing red and blue, which is just really fucking hilarious.
Yeah, and guess who's on the winning side?
Yeah, I know. What was I thinking?
Like, does like the Kanye voters, like, would you rather them just not show up, or
I would rather Kanye West not run.
I know.
I mean, look, I don't think those 60,000 people who voted for Kanye West, I don't think they took any votes away from Biden or Trump. I think those people took votes away from Harambe or Mickey Mouse or whatever bullshit that people vote for every time that aren't serious. I like, look, if you were like, oh, I'm going to vote for Biden, and it was like, oh, Kanye's running, I'll just vote for him. I was like, that's not a scenario. Like, it's not a real scenario. Like, people were like, oh, he's going to steal. No, he's not. He's not. No one serious about getting rid of Trump is like, you know what? I think I'll throw my vote away and vote for a guy who is unbelievably unserious. Like, no.
You don't want to vote for the guy from the birthday party?
Right, exactly. Come on. Yeah, 60,000 people voted for him, which is crazy. So let's talk about the last demographic group, Latin folks. Latin men, 36% to Trump, 61% to Biden. Latin women, 28% to Trump, 70% to Biden. Look, I am of the mindset that Latin folks are the perfect example of what could happen if Republicans stop dealing so hard into racism against black people.
They are one. Yeah, yo.
They are. You see these numbers? This would be it. This would be it.
Like, it doesn't, like, I believe the Latinos for Trump signs more than I do the blacks for Trump.
Yeah, it's always white people holding them. They're like, yeah, black people. Like, nah. Or that crazy guy who's in a cult.
I was talking with my wife about this, and we were like, she's from Florida, and we give her a hard time, but she's like,
as you should.
Like, she's like, there are a few people who are very, very conservative, Latinx people.
Cubans.
If they come from Florida. If they come from, like, the West Coast, Arizona, stuff like that, maybe not so much, but most definitely in Florida.
Yeah, it's Cubans. I mean, we can say it. Like,
right.
I mean, sorry. Like, look, y'all mad conservative. Yo. Look, it's because they were under Fidel Castro, and they were just like, no, we're not. All you have to do to get Cubans in Florida to vote for a Republican is be like, socialism is coming. They're like, fuck that, and it's like they are a one issue block. Like, they for the most part are. They're just like, just tell me Democrats are socialists. I'm good. I'm out. I'm voting for Republicans. Also, there's another part to it, which is a bit of a colorism issue. And I am not going to say definitively, because I am not Cuban, I am not of that community, and I think it would be a little unfair for me to say that. But what I will say is the perception is that Cubans are, the perception is that Cubans would rather identify as white in America than they would identify as a branch off of, Latinx. And that is the perception. I'm sure there be Cuban people who say, no, that is not true. Like, again, I'm not telling you what you believe. I'm just telling you the perception is that they wants to be white. And so upholding white supremacy is a good thing for them, because they're hoping that, much like the Italians and the Irish, they will get pulled in. Here's the thing. They're probably not wrong. They're not. That's the power of whiteness, dude. Whiteness can expand and shrink as it needs to maintain power, right? Italians and Irish were not white people until it was like, yo, we need more white people to fuck these Indians up and keep control of these black slaves from Africa. And they were like, you're it. And Italians and Irish were like, word, cool, great. And they were in. And they never looked back. So, whiteness will expand as it needs to, as there are more people of color taking over this country. Look for Latin people to get pulled into whiteness, whether they want to be or not. So, and again, right now it's kind of just dealing with Cubans, but yeah, keep your eye on it. In 20 years, Cubans will be referred to as white. Or 20, 30 years. That's my guess. Again, that's not all Cubans who believe that, but Sammy Sosa was damn near as dark as me, and that nigga looks insane.
I think technically Sammy Sosa is Dominican, but
I'm sorry, he is Dominican. You're right.
Yeah, but I get your meaning.
Yeah. Now I've seen 3 different pictures of Sammy Sosa, and he looks like all 3 of the ice creams in Neapolitan ice cream. So he looks insane. He looks insane. Why are you bleaching your skin? Like,
it doesn't look good, man.
No, you look like an insane person,
Because you still got like brown people features,
Right. You look like one of the Wayans brothers when they in White Chicks. You look nuts.
Right. You got like they put too much putty all over your face, man. Like your features are too exaggerated for you to be white.
Yeah.
You got lips, bro.
Yeah, like
white people don't have lips,
Yeah, he was like, "Nah, this is me." I'm like, "Who? Who is that?" Sammy. So okay, you got it. Like, that's crazy. But yeah, look, I think these demographics are interesting. The one thing I will say that doesn't have to do with demographics per se about the election is I watched recently. If folks haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. Obama was on the Shop LeBron show, which was really fantastically shot, by the way, just because of the pandemic. They just did a really interesting job. I've never watched that show, but I'm going to go back and watch all of them.
It's a really good show.
I really like LeBron. Like, he just strikes me as a good-hearted dude, which by all accounts he is, right?
Yeah.
Have you watched the Obama one?
Yeah.
I like that he was like, "Yo, stop calling me at midnight." like, "Yo, leave me alone." I like that LeBron refers to him as his friend, which is just amazing. Like,
yeah, I called my friend up, the 44th president of the United States. Like, what?
Yeah, that's incredible. Yeah, and I felt like there was a bit of a jab at Jordan at one point in the conversation where he was like, players more worried about shoes than like helping people. I was like, I mean, he's not wrong. Like, that is true. Republicans buy shoes too, right? But in that conversation they had, he made a point. Obama made a point that I thought was really good, and I think it's something people should heed, which is basically like, democracy is not like, it's not fought in an afternoon or in one race. Like, you fight these battles. And, you win or you lose. You take a day, take a couple weeks, dust yourself off, and you get right back into the fight. Like, politics and defending democracy is a sport with no off season. That's not. Like, and I see a lot of people who feel like they seem like fatalists, right? And I didn't mention this, but I think this is also a part of the black men and women numbers going up. I think some people feel like they're in a no-win situation. So like, things haven't been 100% fixed in us going with Democrats, so let's try Republicans. And I'm like, I get the sentiment. literally, when you look at the details, none of that makes sense. Like
that's a recruiting tactic that black conservatives use all the time. Dude.
Yeah,
They
right
use
to your face.
all the time. They'll say, "Well, what do you have to lose?" Like,
yo, that's not an argument.
that's your best pitch for me to ride with you. What else you got?
I mean, look, one could make the argument. I mean, Trump literally did that, right? He was like, black people, what do you have to lose? Fast forward to coronavirus, our lives. Like legit, it's hurting us specifically more than any other community, black and brown folks, right? So, he made that point of like, look, this is a sustained long fight, and it's exhausting. It is exhausting, and it never lets up. But if you think giving up and not voting or throwing your weight behind someone who's like, what do you got to lose? Even though none of their policies are going to actually help you, actually they will do the exact opposite, then you're disenfranchising yourself. And that, look, by the way, that's not me saying you have to vote for Democrats or you're a terrible person. I would just say you need to be informed. And again, I have faith in the policies that are put forth by the left, right? Like, and I mean just the left side of the political spectrum. I don't mean like the far left or anything like that. I just mean on the left side of the political spectrum. I'm not worried about being like, you need to vote for this person on this team or whatever. Just be informed. Go vote whoever you are, wherever you are on the spectrum, but go vote and be informed. And just know that the fight is not going to end in 6 months. Like, it's not. Getting Trump out is not the end of the fight. That is a battle. Like, if you want to think about it as like a sports analogy, the best way I can think of it is like every election is the playoffs, or like this, let's say like every big election is the Super Bowl, and we are always in the playoffs all the time. Every time. Like, you don't just win the Super Bowl and then you're just off and you get the reset at the beginning of the season. No, it builds on shit. So we're always in the playoffs, right? Like good. I hope Biden wins, and that's great. And we got rid of Trump. Trump's like, yo, if I lose, I'm running in 2024. Okay, cool. Get ready, right? Like, you got to be back into the fight. You got to keep ready. We got 2 years before the midterms, right? Biden hasn't even started. You already have 2 years on the clock. That's all you have. Right. So the next year we're in the house anyway, right? So get informed, read shit, because before you know it, there is another election, and before you know it, 2 years after that, there is another election, and there are special elections, and there are elections for dog catcher or whatever in your local area, like all of those things. It is a fight worth fighting because our lives literally depend on it. And when you turn off, whether that is mentally turn off or you decide you're just not going to participate, you cannot get mad that nothing ever changes, these massive systemic changes, because you're not engaged. And when you're not engaged, you can guarantee that there are hundreds of thousands, millions of people who are also not engaged. 35% of this country is not engaged in politics at all. And 100% of people go, shit needs to change. How does that make sense? 35%? Come on, man. That's nuts.
I'm amazed by that, by the way. Like now in this climate that we're in right now. I mean, I wasn't expecting anywhere near 100%.
Oh, hell no.
75?
Yeah, give me 75, yo. 80%? I think 80% should be the goal. It should be the goal. Yo, we're like, ooh, we're getting at 64%, 67%. That's the most people have voted in 100 years. 100 years. Like, come on, man. Like, get out there. Like, this idea of people following, online personalities or, DVD hustlers telling you not to vote. You're not helping yourself. And people go, well, what has voting done for us? You need a list? You need a list? I'll give you one. Because, I mean, like, to say that nothing has changed is crazy. I saw a woman said nothing has changed since the 1960s. Yo, that's insane to me. That's insane to me. Like, yo, you just saying shit on the internet for clout? Like, that's insane. You don't believe that.
Yeah. That's a look at me post. That's a pay attention to me post.
Nothing's changed since the 1960s. You can vote. That's one. That's a big one. Like, do people think black people could vote in like 1925 or some shit?
Yeah,
no, yo.
When women got the right to vote, black people got the right to vote. Right?
That's how it works, right? Black women. They gave it to black women first, and then they made black men wait till the 60s. What the fuck are you talking about? Nigga, my mom was alive when she couldn't vote. That's insane. That's insane. Yo, it's not even like my great-grandmother. It's my mom, yo. I talked to her tonight. She's a real-ass person. And she couldn't vote in her lifetime. Like, I'm like, just keep that in mind. Micah and I and Terrence are a part of the first generation of people who could fully vote.
Who were born with
those
the right
rights
to vote.
That's insane, dude. And it's not my mom didn't have me when she was 55, nigga. She was 24. Like, that's a normal age to have a kid. We are the first generation of black people to be like, yes, of course they have the right to vote. That's crazy. So don't tell me that voting hasn't done anything. What are you talking about? Like, yeah, there's police brutality, there's racism and stuff like that. Yeah, those are systemic issues, and those are fights that you have to keep fighting. Like, I'm not trying to be mean about it. And I get why people have a fatalist mindset, but your fatalist mindset ain't gonna fix shit. It's not gonna fix anything.
Gonna do it. You might as well continue to fight. What's your other option?
Just giving up. You think giving up is like people are like, I'm going to hold my vote. What do you think that teaches anyone? Cool. They don't participate. Next. The fuck they asking you for? They don't have to ask for shit.
This is how you got to reach the people, right? Killmonger would fight.
Yeah, he would.
He would keep fighting. Everybody wants to be like Killmonger. All right, be like Killmonger. Keep fighting.
Yeah.
But Killmonger would probably try to fight you like literally.
Like, yo, relax, relax.
Yeah. No. Metaphorically.
Nah, he like, nah, fuck that.
Metaphorically. Right.
Like, here's a perfect example. Let me ask you a question. For people who are like, yo, voting doesn't work. Let me ask you a question. When's the last time you ever heard a politician talk about trying to get Jehovah's Witnesses get their opinion on anything? You know why? They don't vote. They don't vote. And like, look, if you're a Jehovah's Witness, that's not a slander on you if you're like, well, I do. But the vast majority of Jehovah's Witnesses do not vote.
Well, there's a lot of things that those people don't do.
Yeah, they don't celebrate birthdays, which is sad. But they don't vote. So they don't have a voice. But guess what? I don't really hear Jehovah's Witnesses complaining too much. They just be like, yeah, whatever, I'm hanging out the hall. Like, it's cool. But like, if you're like, yo, we need to fix issues of racism, you think just sitting at home gonna fix it? It's not. Look, there's two options. And one of them, you gonna lose. And one of them, you got a chance at winning. As Malcolm would say, it's the bullet or the ballot box. That's it. There ain't no other choices. So you can either try to participate and not get out there and start a civil war that you will lose with the government, or you can try to get you and all your friends together and vote these people out. They try to suppress your vote because it works.
Right. Yeah.
That's why. Which is why somebody commented, voting doesn't matter. And I was like, if voting didn't matter, they wouldn't spend so much money suppressing it. And someone responded weirdly. They were like, no, the politicians just want to keep their positions. I'm like, because their positions hold power. Thus, if you vote other people in, they lose power. Hence, your vote matters. Like, use systemic thinking, yo. Like, it's not that hard. Like, come on, man. Come on. Like, they don't just have the positions for that. They only make like $144,000 a year. Yo, they're not like billionaires.
Yeah, they're not rolling in dough, yo. Like,
Right. Not from that job. Like they are once they get there because insider trading is
right.
legal.
What? Yeah, why does Donald Trump want to be president? He made more money not being president than he has being president.
So he
You wanna know
says.
why he want. You want to know why he wants it? Because it's the power, yo. It's being in the room where it happens.
Right. Right. So like it's massive amounts of power. It's incredible amounts of power. And you can shape lives. Like you can just determine people will live or die. Like that's a real thing, right?
Like him or not, he has affected the world.
Yes. In terrible, terrible ways, but he has.
Right. But like his name will be in history books, dude.
Yes.
Like, and for someone like him, that's more than what he's worth.
Yeah.
Like,
so the idea that we would just take ourselves out of that situation and just let, like, the idea that I would stand there and be like, okay, white people are really racist towards black people and they have systemically made our lives awful. So what I'm going to do is do nothing and then just hope it'll get better. What kind of logic is that? Or if you say, well, I'm not hoping it gets better. I don't think it will. So I'll just sit back. Well, again, guess what? It won't stay neutral. It will get worse. Like your life, the fact that you can go vote, the fact that you can walk around, the fact that you can go to the mall, buy your Jordans or do whatever, play video games, get on the internet, and for the most part be left alone on like normal day shit is because people fought for you. Right. They fought for you. People went out in the streets in their Sunday best and got their heads cracked open. Right? That's why.
Imagine somebody walking up to you and punching you in the face. Are you just going to sit there and not do anything about it? Or are you going to fight?
Right. Like,
and if you don't do anything,
don't complain.
They're gonna keep doing it.
Right.
And like, they're going to keep doing it because they're going to test you and they're going to keep testing you until you fight back. And if you don't, well, then you're going to die.
That's right. Yeah, I don't understand. I will never understand the notion of just turning off. I will never understand that, especially from us. Like you can say a lot of things of like, yes, like things are not perfect. Yes, there are plenty, dude. There are hundreds of thousands of miles to go, right? But like we are 12 to 13% of the population literally fighting against a system that was built off of our backs, and it is built to oppress us. So spoiler alert, it's going to take more than a goddamn weekend to fix it, right? But like if people, oh, well, it's not fixed now. Well, that's it. Like, yeah, no kidding. Like it's super fucking hard, right? Like no shit. But the larger aspect here is we have come so far, dude. Like, oh, nothing's changed with black people. Yo, we were literally slaves 140 years ago. Like, are you serious? Like, nothing has changed? We are two black men talking about how racism exists on the internet, posting it and still alive. Are you serious? Like, come on. Like, the world has changed. Is it perfect? Does it need a lot more work? Yes. Like, do you live your life like that? Well, I applied for this job, and they offered me $150,000. I was really looking forward to getting $155,000, so I turned it down, and I'm just going to sit at home. Who lives like that, yo? Who lives like that? And I'm not saying that, like, because I know people like to, like, weirdly misconstrue what I'm saying.
They hear what they want to hear.
Right. I'm not saying that things are perfect. I'm not saying white people are handing you something perfect. That's not my point. My point is you can either try and like if I'm going, like, let's say here's a better analogy. Let me spell it out a little bit easier for the fucking, the dummies. If I'm unemployed and I apply for a job that makes $150,000 and they're like, well, you don't have the skills all the skills we need, but you're doing okay. We'll give you 45,000 and you are unemployed. You just not going to take the $45,000 job? Okay. You're different from me. You're different from me. Like I'm just saying you're different from me.
Honestly, probably some of these people.
They were like, nah, I'm gonna just stay home. Like
nope, I know my worth.
Yeah. Your worth is nothing. You are worth nothing. Like, you know what I mean? Like in that scenario, you don't have any worth. So it's like the idea that you won't take something and you get into that job and you work your ass off and you push and you push and you push. And then you always are trying to get to that 150,000 or a higher position. But you don't just cut your legs off and just be like, nah, I'm just gonna stay home. And just stare at a wall. Like, what the fuck? Like, come on. Like, none of us live our lives like that. So why would you take something so incredibly serious about your own future power and your people's power in this country? Why would you throw that away? Because that's what people are convincing you to do. And that's what you're convincing yourself to do by not participating in the process. Fight. Like by the way, it's the easiest fight you ever do.
Yeah, I mean, come on, yo. Like there are way more people who do way more physically and mentally, right? Every day. Like it's these people's jobs to fight for you. We just ask you to come out every 2 years and fill in a Scantron.
Yo, that's it.
Yo. That's it. You don't have to necessarily go out there and march. You know, I'm not a big marcher, right?
Right.
I'm a let's donate some money to people.
Yeah, you're throw money at the problem. Yeah.
Yeah.
This guy cares nothing about deficits.
But it's literally the easiest thing you can do.
It really is.
It'll take what? A few hours at worst. A few hours of your time.
If you live in a good state like I do, if you live in a blue state, it's super easy. Nigga, I applied for an absentee ballot. They were like, do you want us to mail it to you or do you want us to email it? I was like, email? Like, of course. They emailed it in like 3 or 4 days. I printed it out. I filled it out. And they were like, do you want to print your envelope? I was like, I have envelopes. Yes, I would like that. Printed out the envelope. Had a couple of issues with my printer. That was the most trouble I had with the whole thing. Printed it out, put the shit in there, put it in a drop box 5 minutes from my house. Never had to talk to anybody. Got an email in 2 days saying my ballot had been received. That was it.
Same thing. Then I got an email saying, hey, we counted your vote.
Yep.
And look, that might make us sound, uppity or whatever. Because we're lucky. We live in a blue state, right?
We're lucky.
We live in a blue state. We are lucky. There are a lot of people out there who really do not have that luxury.
Yeah, and in Georgia, for instance, which is not that far from here.
But it is very important, and all it does is look. We have so many distractions that you can take your phone and you can move it while you're standing in line.
Yep.
And then by the time by that third hour of end game, when that begins, you'll be there at the front of the line.
Yeah.
Like it's that is the hardest part, is getting your ass out there, man.
Look, if you can stand in line to get some fucking some new sneakers or whatever, you can stand in line to vote.
if you can navigate the bullshit landmines that are required to get a new video game system when that comes out, you can stand out in front of a Best Buy or a GameStop, if you can go out and stand in front of Target on Black Friday,
yeah, come on now,
you can do this for a goddamn cheap ass TV. You can do this.
Right.
Think of it as practice.
Right. And here's the thing. All you have to do is want it. That's it. Like, look, we have a massive amount of power in this country if we go to the ballot. Like, we do. Like, black people specifically. We can control where this country goes very easily. That is why it is in their best interest to pretend like you don't matter. That nothing ever changes. because they know if black people ever were like, whoa, hold on a second. We can move an entire fucking party. You can. So, I mean, look at the difference. Look at the difference in this. This will be taken as an argument for holding your vote, but I actually don't think it is. When black people were not impressed with Hillary Clinton and decided to stay home in 2016, look at the amount of change in the platform that happened, right? They were like, whoa, 2020, here is all the shit. Now, someone would say, well, cool, see, if you stay home. But see, the problem was you let in a psycho. So for 4 years, you let your people die and get hurt. That part is not the win, right? Moving the platform is the win. But what you do instead is you back black people who believe in the shit that you believe in, and you get them as insurgent candidates in the Democratic Party, and you move that fucking party. If they're not doing the shit that you want to do, get people in there, back people who will move the fucking party. Guess what? Baltimore City, we had a bunch of strings of black mayors who have been a bunch of pieces of shit. They have sucked. Most of them are criminals, and just wild criminality. I wrote a book with my name on it. I didn't even use a pseudonym. I'm going to make schools buy it and then get paid. Come on, yeah. That's the worst plan. That's like a Spider-Man villain plan. It's awful. Big Wheel would have come up with that plan. It's awful. And you know what? People were like, you know what? Enough of that shit. Fuck that. And you know what? They pushed a young black dude, Brandon Scott, who won last night, handily, by the way. He won because that dude is running on real shit. And black people were like, cool, that's the guy. We're going to push that guy. And he fucking won, right? You have power, yo. You have power. And you have power on a local level, too. More so than even on a national level.
I keep telling people, vote if for whatever stupid reason you only want to you can only vote once. You got to vote for the local. You got to vote for your local stuff, because that's where you will see. That's right. Where you will see direct change, dude. Right. That's where you see
sheriffs are on there, by the way. Like, people don't realize sheriffs in places are on the ballot. Like, you can look him up. Oh, this nigga's a Law and Order Trump guy. Fuck that. Put the other dude in. Yeah, look. Here's a perfect example. Perfect example that everybody can understand. Daniel Cameron, Attorney General in Kentucky, right? Black dude with the fucking supercuts shape up, or lack thereof.
With the polygraph hairline.
Yeah, I'm like, this nigga's lying. He's lying. This guy's not telling the truth.
This shit is up and down. Get the fuck out of here.
I'm like, yo, this nigga taking pictures at supercuts. Really? What are you trying to prove? We already knew. But that dude was on the ballot. He was elected, right? Like, that is a local election that you can make change. Judges are places you can make change, right? You just have to give a fuck. So when people, oh, nothing changes, whatever. Like, yes, it does. Yes, it does. Like, what was it? 2018? There was a woman on the ballot she was a cop, and the sheriff who was elected, ousted her because she was a lesbian. They found out she was a lesbian. They started saying all this horrible shit about her and fired her as a cop. She was like, oh, word? She ran for that nigga's seat and took it. Like, the next time. You can make change, yo. Like, you don't have to stand there and just take shit. You can make change. You can. So, like, even if you don't vote for the presidency, I still think that matters a lot. Vote locally. Just I don't fuck with Trump or Biden. Cool, whatever. Still fill out a ballot, and your mayor, your AG, shit like that. Those people matter. They put people in prison. They have specific views. You can look them up. You can Google them. It's not hard. And if you don't have access to Google at home because you don't have access to the internet, weird how you're listening to the show, but okay. Go to the library. It's free. It is your duty as a fucking citizen to have more knowledge than you know what to do with. So when you walk in that voting booth, you fucking crush it. That is how you make systemic change. It is not by turning off. It never has been. It is a fucking sport that there are no off seasons. And it's tiring. You think I'm not fucking tired? I talk about this shit every week, right? Like, we just did a 4+ hour show on this election. We are tired. But guess what? We will do it again at the end of the week. We will. Because that is our contribution, is try to push the shit and make sure people know things and vote. And vote. That's it. That's it. And sometimes, look, all you got to do is vote. Like Micah said, it's the easiest thing you can do. So, that's it. Black people who are voting conservative, stop it. that's the only other thing. Just stop it. I would love to talk to them. Like, I'm very, very curious. I'm very, very curious. And I just want to, don't give me like excuses of why the other side is bad. Right. I want to hear, what's Trump done that you find like amazing?
Yeah.
Like policy.
Convince me to join your team.
Yeah.
That's all I want. But I can never get a straight answer from people. It's always, well, what have they done?
Yeah, that's not an answer.
Like that's not an answer. Nobody can tell me specifically what the pros of being on your team. That's all I want to know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it would be interesting to know that. I think it would be incredibly interesting to know that. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Let's see. Okay. I got some demographics from 2012. Black people overall seem to have gone for Romney, I guess less than 7% overall.
Less than 7?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying, dude. Yeah, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. I mean, Romney got 2%. Let's see, share of the votes. 2012, he got 6% actually of the black vote. 2008, it was 4%. But that's what I'm saying, like these numbers are jumping. And I think it has to do with Trump. I don't think it has to do, like, when given just regular, like, Mitt Romney and John McCain, black people are like, nah, I'm good. Now, granted, Obama's on the ballot, so it's a little hard to tell, right? But it is fascinating. Wow. Romney got his ass beat in that election, too. Good. All right. I think that's it for us. Look, if you're not listening to our political show, Look Forward, you should do yourself a favor. You can find the free portion of that show, which is the first hour, at lookforwardshow.com, or on whatever podcatcher. Just look up Look Forward. The icon is blue and red, Rock'em Sock'em robots fighting. The premium show, if you sign up for blackandblackcinema.com/premium, $5 a month or $50 for the full year, you will also get access to the full episodes of Look Forward in that. So we just did our big election show, so that'll be up if you want to sign up for that as well. All right, I think that's it, and we'll see you guys next week for Charm City Kings. Again, it's on HBO Max.
See you.
All right, later, guys. You're watching the Black on Black Cinema YouTube channel. Make sure you check out our full reviews of black movies, past and present. And every other week, we do a preview episode where we talk about a random topic that affects the black community.